Hello. Today I would like to make a tier list of farming methods in 324 that covers a wide variety of different farms players can do depending on how new they are to the game or how strong their character is. The tiers go from S tier, which is 80 divines plus per hour, to D tier, which is 15 divines per hour. The first strategy is Essences, which is always a strong strategy league to league, as many people buy large quantities of essences in bulk for crafting, thus making them easy to sell. It is new player friendly because it's a very simple farm, as over 90% of the loot is just from essences, and they are easy to price. If you run essences on T16, you will need a strong character with decent single target, but the strategy can also be run on lower tiers. The next strategy is Tier 16 Divination farms, which strategies with a yellow border are Tier 16 farms, and green borders are Tier 17s. But for this strategy, I speedrun Back to Basics Defiled Cathedral 8 mod maps to get 7 years bad luck and Apothecary card drops, which gives Mere Shards and Mage Bloods, but also raw T17 map drops and some Scarabs round out the strategy's currency per hour. Since this farm is run on T16 though, these maps are very easy, so I would suggest your character have at least 40% quant and 250% movement speed to do this strategy, which as you can see by this screenshot, I run these maps in under 1 minute per map, which leads to higher than 15 divines per hour, but you should shoot for very fast maps while skipping the boss. For C tier strategies, beast farming is the first one, where the new scarabs in the game make the farm extremely strong, and since crafting mirror items is always in need of a huge quantities of Krakit Chimerals, this strategy will always be strong throughout the league's duration. Next is Harbingers, where you should not expect to get a explosion of Mere Shards, as you would need to run roughly 2,000 maps by my math to get this, but you should expect 3 to 4 Fracturing Orb explosions every 75 to 100 maps. On top of the Harbinger currency, you should also get a lot of T17 maps and Scarabs. For Harvest, Harvest Juice is used in many different crafting methods or currency exchange methods or divination card gambling, so Harvest Juice will always be in high demand, and since a lot of you PoE players are degenerate divination card gamblers, Harvest Juice, especially Yellow Juice, is always good enough for C tier. Next is Ultimatum, which got a huge buff with the Scarab changes, as a majority of the 10 waves of rewards will be the highest rewards thanks to 2 bribing Scarabs and a guaranteed boss with the dueling Scarab. This means that raw divines as rewards is very common through these waves, and since a lot of people don't like Ultimatum, catalyst prices are usually pretty high, and the occasional expensive boss unique drop is just icing on the cake. Now for Tier 17 strategies, which the first will be 8 mod map farming. If you roll a T17 map to have 100% more map drops and a decent pack size while running Back to Basics, each map that you run will drop roughly 40 8 mod maps. This will allow you to fill a full quad tab worth of 8 mod maps each hour. This is more than enough for the market to handle, so you should use this strategy sparingly and only sustain your own 8 mod maps, or you can sell them in bulk on third-party websites. Next is boss rushing in Tier 17s, which if your build is strong enough, you should be able to kill the bosses in under a minute and do the entire map. And for each map that you run, you should get 2 Uber fragments if you run Back to Basics. I run this strategy on Abomination for a high chance at the Reality Fragment, which is the most expensive Uber fragment, and the boss is fast, but I wouldn't suggest this strategy unless your build has roughly 100 million DPS and is very fast, as again, you need to be running these maps in under 1 minute. For A tier, Curation Divination card farms fall in this category. The reason it is not higher than A tier is because after farming Curation for roughly an hour, it'll take you 30 minutes to roll more Curation maps, since these maps are highly specific on the map mods that you need, and also you need to turn in the thousands of divination cards that you just dropped. So while technically this strategy can do over 100 divines per hour, discounting the time it takes to turn in cards and roll maps, I believe this is a bit of false advertising. Also, I believe Curation barrels to be worse than a Bloodlines max pack size beyond Curation strategy, with influence altars to juice your divination card drops. Here is a screenshot of a 20 map test that I ran using a non-barrel strategy, and you can see the profit is very, very big, but also these maps are very expensive since Curation is very expensive, and also I have to turn in the thousands of cards, including the 1600 Wrath cards that I got. Now for the S tier strategy that I haven't yet made a video on, but is beyond broken if the numbers I am using are accurate, and that is Tier 17 Triple Mysterious Barrel Scarab with Explosive Barrel on the Fortress map. For this strategy, I am using a Back to Basics to get the most barrels as possible inside my map, and I am also skipping the boss, and I am running each map in roughly 90 seconds. And I am able to run these maps as fast as I can because I have a very strong build that can do pretty much all affixes that a map can roll, and also I am using pretty much the world's strictest filter. Also, I don't even care if I kill all the rare mobs in the map if they are super tanky because of the map mods, as I really am only entering the map to kill all the barrels. Here is a screenshot of the loot from 20 maps, which cost basically nothing to run, unlike the curation strategies that you could potentially compare this to. The prices of this screenshot is in standard pricing, but you can look at the quantity of loot and calculate the in-league pricing yourself. The takeaway from this is that I drop roughly 15 Divines raw per 20 maps, 1 Voldo drop per 20 maps, and 1 Sacred Orb per 20 maps, and a bunch of high-end Scarabs. So, if the number of 20 to 1 Sacred Orbs per Mirror of Kalandra is accurate, I should see a raw mirror drop every 400 maps, and since I am running these maps in roughly 90 seconds, that means I'm getting a raw mirror every 10 hours. That being said, if these numbers are accurate, which I have done roughly 200 maps so far, and they seem accurate to me, this strategy is way, way, way more than 80 divines an hour, and is probably S+++++ tier. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments and questions, put them in the comments, and I'll get to them. Thanks.